Hello, my YouTube kings and queens.
What's up, everybody? Unrested and Radery back again for another dual J-Vlogger video.
Yeah.
So what are we doing today?
Talking about Japanese film.
Some of our favorite Japanese films, and some that we just want to slam. Maybe they weren't so good. Probably some of these you've heard, and some you haven't heard. If you already heard it, don't say, everybody's seen that, guess what, I don't care. Okay, whatever.
You do the best white trash impression.
Thanks,
You know
man.
that?
It's kind of natural.
Yeah. It comes from experience.
Come from a lot of experience there in Florida. I don't know if you guys know, but Florida has just a skosh of white trash.
Yeah.
Alright, so what movie do we got up first? We got Norikos Dinner Table.
Norikos Dinner Table, directed by Shion Sono. It's actually the prequel to Suicide Club. An actual really, really good prequel, as a matter of fact. It's really kind of hypnotic, and running time is like 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Really takes a surreal look at Tokyo, I think, and just the classic story of an Inaka girl, that means country, living in the country, heading over to Tokyo, which is quite a common story in a lot of movies, but this takes a really absurd twist on it. Go ahead. You can...
It's a really meditative film. It's really interesting. It's kind of Lynchian in a way.
That's very true. Very well said. Japanese Lynch movie.
Kind of hypnotic. A very bizarre sense.
To give you a slight premise, and this is just only a synopsis of kind of what goes down, is a girl heading over from the countryside of Japan, trying to take on life in the big city, and you know, that's kind of a classic story, as I said, but this gets into a girl who lands a very strange job of pretty much becoming part of a fake family that's used to entertain kind of lonely souls.
Yeah, it's a really bizarre premise, but I highly recommend it.
Yeah, a very unique idea, a very new take on the whole, you know, small town girl moves to a big city. And then, as we said, yeah, that is a very Lynch-esque Japanese film worth checking out.
And, I mean, those of you who are actually learning Japanese, it's a great picture to start with, because the language is really simple.
That's true. They do start out with some very basic Japanese. It would be a really good one to start learning Japanese from. Watch it again and again, yeah. Moving on, we've got, and this is a movie that's actually been redone quite a few times. Some of you may have seen, may not have seen, Tetsuo Iron Man. That's the first one, Tetsuo Iron Man. There's actually been 3. There's Tetsuo Iron Man, Tetsuo Hammer Body.
Tetsuo 2.
Tetsuo 2, Hammer Body, which is almost the exact same story again, but this time he has a kid. And recently, this has only been released, I think, a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago?
Something like that.
It was Tetsuo Bullet Man, and unfortunately, this time it was done in English, and personally, I think that marred the whole series horribly.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I can't really make a comment about it.
I can't say it's worth your time. But let's just talk about the original.
Yeah, the original is really good. All the stop motion, you know, shot on real film, you know. You could tell he put a lot of time into it, because it's just not, you can't do something as simple as that.
Well, what exactly he's talking about is this is a movie based on a guy who has a fetish for metal. Yeah,
he has this big metal fetish, and like he sort of like lets metal grow sort of inside him.
Yeah.
Did you ever the movie like David Cronenberg? You know David Cronenberg?
Yes, yes.
It's sort of like metal grows from his skin, and it's sort of like the metal nightmare.
If you've seen the movie, they're very visceral movies. Existence.
Yeah, Existence,
and Videodrome.
Videodrome.
Those are 2 very good examples of how this movie relates to Western film. Like he was saying, it's very biomechanical and very visceral with the combination of technology and human flesh. And if you're into any kind of very strange, I would say this is a very stylized horror movie almost. Yeah.
It's sort of a commentary too on the Japanese, I don't know, I guess persona in a way, like sort of how they're kind of like mechanical or they're like robotic in a way.
That's true. He really gets into that with part 2, which is almost the same thing again. It's about a salaryman who finds out he is a combination of metal and human. And this is again showing how even life itself in Tokyo can be mechanical day in and day out. We're doing the same things, waking up, doing the same habits, going to the same jobs. And it's monotonous, and this is kind of like what would happen if it was broken by something freakish.
So, based on our review, I'd say skip the second one, just go with the first one.
Yeah, and
it's really good.
Don't even think about laying eyes on the third one, Bullet Man.
I suppose it's pretty bad.
It was just definitely the wrong direction to go, to let Gaijin star in the final one. And I'm not saying that I'm against Gaijin acting in Japanese films. It's just the acting and the dialogue is so atrociously done in this. It's wretched. Moving on.
It's almost bad Sukiyaki Western to Django.
Oh, God. Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like if they probably just did it in Japanese, it would have been okay.
Yeah, no, that would have actually been excellent with like the prop settings and everything like that. But oh my God, to suffer through that English, I couldn't even make it through the movie he's talking about. I couldn't even make it through. The English was just so bad.
Like, why did they do that? I don't even know why. Why did they make it in English? Because
that was a horrible idea. Because it's not even English. It's just like katakana.
I mean, I don't know. They have like those Italian westerns, you know, like they're all done in English.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're trying to do that same style.
But it's so forced and just painful to watch.
What they call it, a sushi western?
A sushi western.
Instead of an Italian western.
A
spaghetti western, excuse me.
If you are brave enough to take on that movie, you can watch it and be horrified.
It's not bad.
It was painful for me. It was just painful.
Yeah.
Moving on, exploitation. Let's move on to some exploitation, Japanese exploitation films. Machine Girl.
Machine Girl, yeah. Noboru Iguchi.
And this is the story of a girl who loses her arm and replaces it with a chainsaw, kind of...
reminiscent of Army of Darkness.
Yeah, that definitely comes to mind. But this is done in such a way that the director has obviously not taken himself seriously, which honestly helps this movie...
Yeah.
But just tons. I mean, you know the actors and the director were not going into this saying, we are making, you know, the next fucking Beautiful Mind. You know, this isn't some kind of, like, artsy piece, but...
No, by no means.
Yeah. It's got a simple story. The acting is subpar. I would put it, like, not even B-level, C-level.
Yeah.
And, but it's told well enough that the story is coherent and interesting, and it doesn't waste its time with, like, boring dialogue. It cuts to the chase. Like, a movie like Machete, which obviously just came out in America, an exploitation film where obviously they knew the acting was bad, the story was bad, but what they made, you know, the highlight was the gore factor, the action factor, and just the overall pushing the envelope with exploitation factor. And they do an amazing job with that in this movie. Yeah,
it's a pretty good movie. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's a little cheesy at parts, but I mean, if you can get over the cheese and enjoy it for what it is rather than taking it seriously.
Exactly. Go into it not expecting much, come away with much more than you expect.
Yeah. I mean, just have fun with it, personally. I mean, like,
yeah.
There's a lot of these old movies, they've done in, like, shoestring budgets, and I mean, they're just meant to be enjoyed rather than, like, taken seriously.
Yeah.
Like, Noboru Iguchi made another short mini-series called, what was it called? I can't remember, it's like Dogu-chan or something. It's sort of a mix of like Russ Meyer meets like Power Rangers meets Pokemon. I mean, it's a really, really weird show.
Wow. I've never seen this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but you just have to enjoy it for what it is. You know, because the poor budgets, the terrible acting, I mean, but it's fun. Everybody has this energy, like they want to be there. They want to actually make this
Well, movie. I mean, his next film, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Robo-Geisha, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, once again, you can even just tell with the title, Robo-Geisha. I mean, and again, it was another movie that was totally comical, hilarious. You know, gore factor, action factor was the main highlight of it. Acting was not the big thing, but it's just a very unique idea, told in a very funny and entertaining way.
Actually, you know what's better than Robo-Geisha? He has a new one coming out called Zaboga, which is based on an old TV series with the same title, Zaboga. But I'm telling you, I got to see some of it, like a little private screening, and it is really good. I think that's quite possibly Noboru Iguchi's best movie.
I've never heard anything.
Yeah, it's just now coming out. It's like a Rotterdam Film Festival and whatever.
Well, he hasn't let me down yet with anything he's made. So
there's actually like a whole new series of like films called Sushi Typhoon, which is like Noboru Iguchi, Shion Sono, the guy who did Noriko's Dinner Table. And Mike is a part of it too, and there's a couple of others. But anyway, they're bringing a bunch of these films to America and all over Japan. So
and this is kind of like, pretty much like I said, Japanese exploitation.
Yeah. Well, check this company out. It's pretty interesting. Sushi Typhoon.
Excellent.
Shion Sono's got a new one out called Coldfish, which looks pretty good. I think maybe Unrested could put a little link to the trailer below.
We'll do it right here. Yeah. It's there now.
Yeah,
I can't see it.
It's in our groin,
but it's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on, one more exploitation film I wanted to bring up was Tokyo Gore Police.
Tokyo Gore Police. Yeah, Yoshiro Nishimura. Great guy. I've actually met him. So
how was he in life?
He's a very angry man.
Really? Was it like really intense when you met him?
No, I mean, he's really down to earth and he's easy to talk to. It's just when he's directing and when he's talking, he's very loud.
Well, as you can even tell by the title, Tokyo Gore Police, obviously an exploitation film. Mm-hmm. Once again, something that totally highlights itself on the gore factor and the action factor. It was great. The story is excellent. You know, once again, a simple idea made into an extremely gory plot that entertains anyone who's up for a bit of exploitation type film. Mm-hmm. What's your opinion on it?
It's a great movie. I mean, it's just another one of those you can't really take seriously. You just have to sit back, relax, and enjoy it for the gore factor. It reminds me of another film I saw a while ago called Riki-Oh, which is based upon a manga, a Japanese manga, which was later turned into a Chinese. They remade it like some Chinese film. It's extremely violent, but it's hilarious.
You can actually, I watched it on YouTube. You can go YouTube right now, Riki-O. Watch the whole thing. If you like, you know, obviously some really bad acting, a pretty simple plot, but gore level 10.
Yeah.
I mean, excellent gore. Absolutely hilarious stuff. Like, things you would never imagine doing with the human body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely hilarious. Yeah. Definitely worth your time if you're into exploitation type films. This one, I mean, it was the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
This would have been amazing even in the time of exploitation films in America.
Yeah. Oh, speaking more about Tokyo Gore Police, my favorite scene, if you ever get around to seeing it, is the scene with a middle finger. So watch out for that scene.
My favorite scene is the one where there are guns for eyeballs. So,
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you will know it when you see it. That's quite a unique scene. Guns for eyeballs.
Yeah.
Okay, think about that one for exploitation. Moving on, we've got Kairo, or as it was known in the English remake, Pulse.
Pulse. It's actually really quite a psychological film. You know, it's not one of those like scary, like jump out of your seat sort of movies. It's more of like one of these like you're slowly brought into it, and like it just kind of creeps the hell out of you because it's just more of a atmospheric sort of film. You know, you just kind of feel like there's a ghost present in your room.
Yeah, the computer scene at the beginning, that says it right there. That was one of the creepiest scenes I've ever seen in a movie. Just utterly atmospherically and psychologically creepy. The American version, if you've seen it, Pulse, is much more physically based as far as horror, and the Japanese original, far based in psychologically scaring the hell out of you.
Yeah, it's pretty well done.
Excellent, yes. Premonition is our next one.
Yes.
Again, another movie that was made into an American movie with, I believe Sandra Bullock, was in...
I think it's a different story, though.
Was it a totally different story?
I'm sorry. Story. I don't know. I'm not, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that one was really different. But this one was, the Japanese original was based on a guy who gets the newspaper ahead of time. Yeah. Kind of like, what was that TV show in America called?
It's like one of the old Twilight
Early Edition. Early Edition. You remember that? Yeah. But this is a scary version.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, what's great about this film, it's like kind of like one of those old Twilight Zone episodes. It has like this sort of spooky storyline behind it, and it's very maximizing and interesting. What do you remember from it?
I just remember that it had a really... most of the filming itself was based, even though it was a color movie, it almost felt like everything was based in black and white, like a newspaper would be. And I really got this sense of like a foreboding presence with everything that came to this guy, as far as he could see the future, he would know what kind of horror and accidents would happen, such as plane crashes, earthquakes, etc.
Right.
But he was not allowed to tell anyone, so he was kind of living with this curse, and it was like, not only how... he couldn't abuse that curse, but at the same time, how that curse tormented him.
Yeah. What's particularly interesting is the actor who played the main character. He really knows how to, like, capture emotions and really express them really well. And I mean, a lot of Japanese actors, I mean, this is just my opinion, but I feel like a lot of Japanese actors kind of lack in the acting skills.
Well, okay, yeah, here's my theory on that as well. Japan in general is more so far more, how should I say, I don't want to say apathetic, but more like
Yeah.
gray area when it comes to emotion. Especially public display of emotion is not, that's frowned upon.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from anything being copacetic, you know, getting really angry in public, getting really lovey-dovey in public, it's frowned upon. So in daily life, Japanese people really don't get to practice these emotions, and therefore acting itself becomes more of a challenge for the fact that these are feelings that they're really, for the first time, getting to act out, and it's on screen.
Yeah.
So I'm not really saying that necessarily that Japanese people are bad actors. I think there are quite a few talented people, but...
Oh, yeah. I've met several of them. Like, actors are like, they kind of scare me. It's like, I don't even know how to approach some of the actors I've met here in Japan.
Very intense personalities?
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's this new film by the same guy who did Tokyo Gore Police, Nishimura, called Hell Driver. And one of the main characters, I actually got to meet one of the main bad guys in the film. And he scares me, because like, he's the lead zombie. Like, I do not know how to approach this guy. Like, this guy's
if you get
fearless.
that feeling in real life, you know then the
He's
actual
fearless.
acting has to be intense itself. So that's always a good thing. Moving on, we've got just a couple more that we want to get to. I want to skip over to Takeshiis by Beat Takeshi.
Oh, Takeshiis, yeah.
What was your feeling on this film?
This is a very strange film.
It's surreal. The best way to say it is it's just a surreal movie, which is...
I think what it is that Bito Takeshi wanted to like sort of make a film sort of mocking himself. And sort of, you know, mocking his whole career and like leading him up all to the point where he is now. And it gets to the point where I'm really unsure what sort of humor he's trying to project here. I don't know. I mean, like, maybe it's really self-indulgent, or it's like some inside jokes.
Knowing Takeshi, it's probably self-indulgent.
Yeah.
Personally...
Well, he is very influenced by the French New Wave, and the French New Wave cinema was known to be very self-indulgent. But perhaps, I don't know, before you watch a lot of these movies, it's important to read reviews, I think, a lot of the time, because you'll understand why people like certain movies or why they're interesting.
This is a movie I think a lot of people were divided on, like whether they liked it or not. I personally, I can't say I really dug this movie too much.
I liked it. It was funny. I mean, it had its moments.
Yeah, there were some things that was pretty interesting, but then there was other things I was just like, where are we going with this plot?
The half-naked woman, and like they use her as like a DJ turntable. You remember that?
Strange. Just to give you an idea of how surreal this movie is. It was, you know, out there. All right, last but not least, we got Visitor Q. I'm sure quite a few of you probably know one of, am I saying this name right? Takeshi Miike?
Yeah, Miike,
yeah. And he did the other movie called Ichi, the Killer, and I think it's just called Ichi in Japan.
No, it's called Koroshi Ichi.
Koroshi Ichi, okay.
Yeah.
The murderer.
Number one killer.
Yeah.
Number one killing machine.
The number one killing machine.
But it sounds better as Ichi the Killer.
Yeah, you will find almost always the titles change between Japan and America. Maybe some of you already know this. This is, again, kind of an... Would you say it's exploitation? I don't know. It's a little better. It's a little higher.
What I like about this movie is that this whole film was shot on digital video.
Oh, that's true.
Which,
I forgot.
I don't know. I think digital video... Like, I've never really saw the art, what digital video was, until actually seeing this movie. Because it really displayed, like, yeah, you could make something quite interesting with digital video. It's not just poor amateur quality, you know, something you upload to YouTube.
This is actually a situation where they really do quite well with digital video. Like, it's believable that the person using the video themselves, which is like he has a job as a cameraman, I believe, and he's part of the news, so that kind of, you know, that's already a medium that does use digital cameras. So it's much more believable for the digital medium to be used in this movie. Yeah. Definitely worth your time if you want another shocker, like another exploitation shocker. I mean, the story is really unique, totally out there, and just some of the visuals and the scenes and the situations probably are going to leave you a bit uncomfortable, honestly.
Yeah.
I know I felt quite a bit uncomfortable with some of the scenes in here. I really, honestly, I can't even go into describing some of the scenes just for the fact that it'll turn my JFAQ right now into an NC-17 JFAQ, I think.
Yeah, well, the opening scene, is the father's sleeping with his daughter.
Oh, yeah, it starts out that
he's really perverse.
Yeah, he's whoring out his daughter to himself.
Yeah.
So that's just the start. So we'll leave you with that to just kind of give you an idea how, you know, horrible this movie goes as far as, you know, delving into indulgence, vices, and, you know, utter human corruption.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it.
Great
That's
stuff.
a good 20 minutes of video right there. Holy cow. We really can talk it up, can't we, when it comes to movies. But we want to just take some time, give you some of our own personal reviews, some stuff you should check out. I'm going to go ahead and list the titles below, and you can go ahead and check them out. Some of them you can actually find on YouTube itself. Or,
down in the sewer.
Yeah. Or just, go to the store and buy them. Give these people some money. It's actually worth it. I would say it's worth owning probably all these movies. They're definitely worth that.
Yeah.
Other than that, this is Unrested.
This is Radery.
Signing off. Peace out.
Yeah. Represent from the hood.
Oh.
Hello, my YouTube kings and queens.
What's up, everybody? Let's start over.
Let's try that again.
Okay.